Isn't that nearly hypocritical for us to be calling another country imperialistic while we simultaneously do the same thing around the globe?
Sure, and?
Hi, thanks for tuning in our Middle Ground event today. This is our first attempt, and along the way there were many technical difficulties. We also recognize that this group was not as diverse as it should have been. However, we think of this as a dry run and a preview of what's to come, which is hopefully more diversity and no technical difficulties. Please enjoy.
Hi, my name is Will Sanctifalo. I'm excited to participate in this Middle Ground event debate. I'm a progressive who is debating today as a moderate.
My name is Henry Collins Thompson. I'm a junior at Community High School, and I am a moderate Democrat.
Hey, hi, my name is Ben Kalasakenyan. I'm a senior at Pioneer High School. I'm a Marxist, Leninist.
My name's Harry Sanders. I'm a senior at Pioneer High School. I'm a progressive Democrat, and I believe in Medicare for all and a just and equitable future for the working class.
America has the right to intervene across the globe.
To say America has a right to intervene, it surely does, and it uses that right a lot. From then on, it's whether we disagree with the intervening, and I don't think America should be intervening quite as much in
Yeah, I would agree with Henry. I don't think America needs to intervene as much as it has in the past, but I certainly think America considers itself a defender of freedom across the world and should continue to do so. When we see human rights atrocities and violations occurring, America needs to step in.
Okay. I don't feel like America has a place to spread its ideologies across the world just because it feels like it's, for example, its economic prosperity when it relates to this particular country is at stake. I don't think we have any place to be telling another country, you need to do this, you need to do that.
I mainly agree with you there, but America still should have the right to intervene in countries.
Well, if you look at like World War II, for instance, wouldn't you? But
Obviously, well then that would discredit your whole argument.
Yeah, because the prompt is whether or not they should at all, and if we're looking at something like concentration camps, and we both agree that they should, then there are scenarios. So.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel like in like a wartime environment when it warrants it, but I think America needs to have more reason than
economic interest. I would agree. I just think
not just economic, but geopolitical interest as well.
Isn't that nearly hypocritical for us to be calling another country imperialistic while we simultaneously do the same thing around the globe?
Sure, and?
And so I have a problem with that. I don't think we should be having a bone to pick with North Korea.
I mean, there are certainly countries that are inherently better than others, like the U.S. clearly better than China when it comes to its.
Totally better than China.
Well, when it comes to human rights abuses with the.
We have prisoners getting raped and murdered in prison every day. We have like probably the most horrible, or one of the most horrible prisons.
Activities committed by another onto another, not the state raping and murdering.
There you go, Abu Ghraib. You guys have been talking about the role of us in preventing human rights violations in the Middle East, and Abu Ghraib was one of the most horrific instances of prisoner abuse ever recorded. Every major human rights organization came out and condemned it, and that was rape and torture and electrocution and horrible, untrialed violence perpetrated on a people.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a separate issue. I think we should that shouldn't happen in America. But I also think at the same time there are people in power in America who have the ability to help like other countries if there are other peoples who are being oppressed by an oppressive government. So I think we have problems and we've done terrible things in the past, but I don't think it's a problem almost to be hypocritical. I think we still need to work to help people around the world and make sure that doesn't happen on our watch.
No one can ethically make $1 billion.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd love to. I think $1 billion is more money than anyone could ever practically spend. And it's really hard for me to see a society in which you can have some people with such enormous wealth, built on the backs of the working class, while others have a fortune that's greater than I could ever count to, let alone practically use in my life, I think that points to some really, really fundamental flaws in the system we have.
I also feel like it's inevitable that wealth will be built literally on the backs of the proletariat, and I just think that's completely wrong for the hardest workers in America to still be the poorest consistently throughout our history.
Yeah, I think my answer to this question is I don't care, because the word ethically can be determined by multiple different people of what that means. But we don't regulate society in a way of saying how much you can make. A lot of the billionaires, they've made an investment, they've kept a business open, and they've succeeded. And you can also make $1 billion in the stock market, let's say, not necessarily off the backs of laborers.
But you're investing in companies that do. Like, let's say you invest in Tesla. Just because you're not directly working with Tesla, you're still investing in Elon Musk having a bunch of little kids in Southeastern Asia mine dangerous minerals and be dead by 37, you know? Just because you're not literally working for Tesla or an Amazon, you're investing in them and supporting them. So while I certainly agree you are not literally doing these things, you are actively supporting them to happen. And that is wrong.
Absolutely.
Sure, but we have no alternatives. People are always going to be working the horrible jobs in society.
But Henry, the reason we're here is to talk about those alternatives. I recognize that currently in society there are plenty of billionaires, and there are plenty of
we've seen with the profit incentive structure that people have been lifted out of poverty and they don't have to work these grimy jobs like in Southeast Asia and whatnot. Sure, people still do, but we'll never have a society. It's impossible. Someone has to do them. Someone has to pick the apples off the tree. Someone has to mine the gold.
We should treat them better than we are.
Yeah, I agree that we should treat them better than we are. But I think to me, $1 billion is sort of like an arbitrary number. Maybe someone could in the future. But I think for like trying to hone in on this issue of, you know, like the working class and the issues they face, you know, things like a minimum wage hike or preventing, you know, our labor from being exported into other countries where we treat, you know, child's like slaves, where we use like child labor. I think like we can have regulation that prevents that, but I feel like the billion number, you know, if someone makes $1 billion, they also still have to pay taxes on that. So like you could say that it benefits society.
Okay, well a capitalist society where the theoretical incentive is that we will continue to produce and until we get as rich as we can. That is the goal of somebody who is an investor or a stockbroker, right?
Yeah.
They will theoretically invest until they have no limits. They will do what they need to do to become rich. If the regulations aren't there, they will kill your mom. They will do whatever they can to become super grossly wealthy.
Good thing we have a little something we like to call competition, where companies constantly have to be improving their standards.
We don't have competition.
We have monopolies. You go to the chip aisle and you look everything. We have the illusion of choice. Frito-Lay owns everything in the chip aisle. Mars owns everything in the candy aisle.
In part, that's due to government regulation because it creates much harder barriers for competition to enter the supposed free market.
The right to bear arms shall not be infringed.
I think that if we're going to live in a militarized police state, then citizens should have the right to protect themselves.
I absolutely agree with that.
I do believe that America's founding, we've always had the right to bear arms to protect ourselves from an oppressive government, and we should be able to keep that right. There probably should still be some gun control or bans on weapons that, like automatic weapons that are able to kill large amounts of people. And
I think we should be just as armed as the police are.
Yeah, so I would agree with what Ben's saying, that if we are going to live in a militarized police state, which I think we are now to some extent, people should have guns, but I think we need to work towards a society where we take guns out of the hands of the police. I think, you know, people conducting traffic stops, people responding to mental health emergencies shouldn't have guns, and I think that at the same time we should have much stricter gun laws. So, you know, people with who have like intention to hurt people shouldn't have guns in their hands. I think our goal as a society should be to get to a place where neither the police nor citizens need large amounts of weaponry.
I agree, and also, I mean, while England and the UK is certainly not a perfect society, they also, you know, impede their imperialism all over the world and continue to do so. They have it so the police nor the citizens have weapons, or they don't have guns.
And-
And I realize that there are stabbings and such, but I cannot recall the last time there was a school shooting.
I was not going to bring up stabbing, but in fact, in the UK, there's a much higher amount of property theft and petty break-ins into houses
I know,
because
but I'm
people
talking
know
about
that
gun
people
violence.
can't defend themselves.
Well, I
sure,
mean,
gun violence, but they're
I think
obviously
gun
still
violence
stabbings.
is a bigger issue than petty stealing crimes.
Yes, I would 100%
I would
agree.
I would give England Columbine so that we can have their petty stealings.
I would agree.
I don't, I am totally okay with not having 22 school children who are 9 years old killed.
I think when you bring up petty theft statistics, you very literally
Yes.
put the price on the life of a child.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, despite the little bit of technical difficulties. Thank you so much to our producers, Kenichi Labazo and Sebastian Oliva. We hope to see you again at our next production.